Hi guys, my name is Lilly and today I want to show you the knives that I'm using. This here is my knife collection and this video is probably going to save you a lot of money because when you're starting out with bushcraft and survival, at the beginning you might think, yeah, this is a great knife and I'm going to buy it, but then later you find out that maybe it wasn't a good choice to buy the knife. So today I want to show you the knives that I own and why I bought them and if I would buy them again, which is the most important question. Okay, let's start with this knife here. This is the Boker Vox Rolled and it comes in a D2 steel, which is something between stainless steel and carbon steel. So it tends to rust a little bit, and that's why they have coated it with this black coating, which is coming off a little bit, but that doesn't matter. The reason why I bought this knife was because it's full tang. It has very sturdy line and micarta handles, and it has a very good feel to it, a very good grip. It's quite a good chopper. It has a full flat grind, and the first looks of it might imply that you want to buy this knife. But then when I was trying it out, I was batoning some very hard pine branches and it actually chipped. I had two very big chips in the blade because the steel of this knife is very, very hard. It has around, I think, 62 Rockwell or maybe 61, I'm not sure exactly, but it's pretty hard. Almost too hard. So if you want to do batoning with this knife, it would have been better if they used a little bit softer of a steel. The good thing though is that the knife comes flat at the back side here, which is good when batoning. And all in all, it's a good knife. Would I buy it again? No, I wouldn't, because the cutting capabilities are not that great. It's pretty thick and very broad. In general, I'm not that fancy anymore of very broad knives. I don't like it anymore. I don't know. It's a good and stable knife. Cost me around 130 euros, but I wouldn't go for it again. And the sheath that the knife comes in is actually pretty crappy, so yeah. The next knife that I want to show you is this one here. I've used this in the past 3 months. It's a very good carving knife. It's by Diving Sparrow. It has micarta handles and it has a very ergonomic grip. So it feels very good in the hand. Comes with a full flat grind, 1095 carbon steel, and it cuts very well. So it's a very good carving knife. What I don't like about this blade is that the tip is pretty thin, so I'm always afraid that one day it might break off. Other than that, it's a very good knife. Maybe a little bit too short, but it makes definitely a good bushcraft knife. Would I buy it again? Well, I got it for free, so I didn't buy it, but it's a custom knife and it cost $300. I think that's a little bit steep and I wouldn't buy it for $300. I would buy it for $100, yes. The leather sheath that comes with it is of very high quality. It's very sturdy and thick, so that's what I like about the knife. Another knife that I want to show you is this one here. This is a traditional Austrian hunting knife. You use this knife for gutting, and it's called Kanika, which means bending and breaking off, and the blade is very slim because it's used to kill, for example, deer when they are wounded and you can't shoot them. You just take the knife and push it in between the skull and the first vertebrae, and that's why it has a very slim shape. It's pretty sharp and I've gutted a lot of deer with it. It's stainless steel and it didn't cost a lot of money. It cost around, I think, €80 or something. Comes with very nice stack handles. And yeah, I definitely would buy this again because this is a great blood knife. One day I have decided to buy a carving knife, like this one here. This here is the Callum Wolverine, and it has a Scandinavian grind. It comes with a high carbon steel blade. It has a stick tang and a curly birch handle. Now what you shouldn't do with this knife is batoning because the stick tang might break. It's a pretty good cutting tool. It cuts very well. It's razor sharp. So if you're looking for a knife that is a good cutter, I can recommend this one. However, one day I have got a deal with it, and after it was very dull, and I cut through some bones, and then it got a chip, so this is not for blood work. Also, one day I've handed it over to another hunter, and he has cut off the head of a deer, and while he was doing that, he slipped over with his finger onto the blade, and he has cut his finger down to the bone. So this knife doesn't have a lot of finger guard, and that's why I don't recommend it for beginners, because yeah, you really need to be a professional knife user when using a knife like this. And of all these knives, I'm most cautious with this one here. The next knife that I want to show you is the Cold Steel SRK. And when I was buying this knife, I had in my mind that I wanted to buy a one-item survival knife that you can use for every task. If you take a look at the sheath, you might notice that it's actually very good quality. It's a very good quality sheath, and it sits very, very well in the sheath, and it won't come out by itself. The knife itself is a AUS 8A steel. It's a stainless steel, which I like because sometimes, you know, when you are in wet regions or at the coast, high carbon steel tends to rust on you, and this is very resistant to rust. I'm not very fond of the rubber handle. As you can see, it has taken a very good beating from batoning, and it's wearing off. The tang is almost full tang. It's a stick tang, and you can't kill that tang. This knife is a breaching tool. It's so thick it won't break on you. It has about 5.5 millimeters of thickness. Then it has a drop point blade, and I like having that, but it also is a clip point, which means that it has some kind of knife shape at the top, and actually that's very bad when batoning because a lot of energy gets absorbed with this clip point here. The grind comes with a saber grind, and it's actually a very good cutting knife for its thickness. You can do pretty much everything with this knife. It's very forgiving. It is on the medium soft side when it comes to the steel. It has about 58 Rockwell. And one time I hit a stone and the blade didn't chip. The bevel just rolled over, and then I could sharpen it out again very fast, so that's what I like. I'm very fond of knives that are not too hard. And yeah, would I buy it again? Yes, I would. It costs around €80 or €100, and it's a very good knife, and I hope that it will last me even longer. So yeah, pretty awesome. I would definitely buy it again. The Cold Steel SRK is definitely a one knife option, and if I had to take any of these knives, I would go for this one here. However, it's not the best carving knife, and that's why I have looked for another blade, which is this one. This is a modified Mora Pathfinder, and it comes with a stick tang, and it's not the most stable blade. I have seen videos of it breaking. But then, you know, I made a custom handle to it. Well, my friend SurvivalLilly did it for me, and he moved the handle a little bit more into the blade so that it's more stable. And now the stick tang starts here. So I'm hoping that with this customized handle that the blade will not be prone to breaking. And I have to say, I really fell in love with the blade shape. I think this is the perfect shape for a survival knife. Now if we compare it to the cold steel SRK, you can see that the blade shape is pretty much the same. The Mora comes with a Scandinavian grind, and it cuts very well, and that's also because it's very thin. It only has 3.2 millimeters of thickness. And yeah, if you take a look at the front here, you can see that the Mora is flat, and therefore it's very nice to baton with this knife. Carving capabilities are insane. This knife is cutting like hell. It's really awesome. It's high carbon steel. I'm not very sure what kind of carbon steel, but Mora makes very good steel, so this one is very good. It hasn't chipped on me yet, and I've done some very rough batoning and it didn't break on me. If this knife was in full tang, I think it would be the perfect survival knife. Also, it could be like 2 millimeters thicker, and maybe as long as the cold steel SRK. And yeah, I've made a custom made sheath for this knife, which I really love. It also comes with this very nice bowl drill socket, and I think every survival knife should have something like this, because making a bearing block for the bow drill is the hardest thing that you can do. Last but not least, I want to show you my hatchet that I'm using. I've used this hatchet to build a lot of my shelters, and yeah, as you can see, it's pretty worn out. I have it now more than 3 years. And this is actually a Vetterling's hatchet. It's the Hunter's edition. It's small and lightweight. And you can tell it's the Hunter's edition because at the back side you can see this hammer, and the edges of the hammer are rounded off. And that's because this hatchet, the purpose of this hatchet is that you are deskinning an animal using the backside of the hatchet. So that's pretty awesome. And the front doesn't have a lot of a blade. It's pretty short, but that's more than enough for debranching some logs or for making wooden stakes. And I have to say, I really love this one. If you're interested in getting a Vetterling's hatchet, you can find them on Amazon. I think this one here was around $80 or something. Yeah, so it's a pretty good one, and I really love it. Yeah, this is my collection of knives. If I had to trust one knife with my life, then I would trust the cold steel SRK the most. It's so robust, it will never break on you. And yeah, if you're interested in getting one of these knives, I have put a link into the description below. Also, if you're interested in what teepee this is a teepee by Judenland. I want to thank them for giving it to me for free. You find a link in the description as well. I want to thank you for watching. Stay tuned till next time, and don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.